Hello my friends and welcome to our Let's Rank Telltale The Walking Dead Season 1 character list. My name is the FlightlessBird, this is your story-based gaming channel, and today we're going to be ranking 27 of the major characters that appeared in Season 1 by episode. Maybe not in order based on when we see them, but I try to do my best to align them as best I can with that. We're going to be ranking them in 5 different categories. We have the zombie penguin, which is the top tier. This is as perfect can get in an apocalyptic world. We have an Icarus, someone who could be top tier, but they have a fatal flaw, or they made some bad decision that made me pause on loving that character. We have the scavenger, who does a job. They're there, they are decent. They just may not have had any big standout moments, or maybe enough standout moments that elevated them to that higher tier. So if a person is a scavenger, they may not just have done enough, but they didn't do anything to be considered less. A survivor is somehow someone is surviving in this game. They're not particularly noticeable. They're more in the background. They don't really have that moment or arc that allows them to be something more than just an ancillary character. And then we have the trash can. Those in the trash are there because I feel they just didn't do really anything to define yourself in a positive way. You are just a horrible person who never really grew. It's like you were one note the entire time, and you were never anything more than just a one note character. And these are characters who I feel have a lot of missed potential. I don't think any character in this game is a necessarily badly written character, but I do think there are characters that should have had a little bit more to cook with. Now with that said, let's go ahead and start ranking these characters, shall we? I hope you're all having a wonderful, fantastic day today. To begin with, we have Lee Everett. And Lee, you're an S character. Why is Lee an S character? Well, because he's also a trash character. I mean, the bottom line is this character is either going to be someone who you totally made a mess of and is just a horrible, horrible person, or you were someone who elevated him and was a great character. I mean, Lee really is either an S or a D. He's either a zombie penguin or a trash can. And for me, he's a zombie penguin, without a doubt. And that also goes with our next girl, number 1 character in the game probably, and that is Clementine. Clementine's obviously a zombie penguin. She is just the heart, the soul of this game. And her story and her art and her growth are without a doubt what this game is all about. And without her in this game would have been far less than what it was. Sean. I don't have a script in front of me, by the way. I'm just going these by how I feel. I really feel that Sean, he's a survivor. He's someone who didn't really do anything. He's not very interesting. He was kind of there. He's basically my perfect character for this tier. Because if anyone was like Sean, well, that's where they go. Now, Sean's father, on the other hand, is a little bit different because Herschel, he's kind of a cool character. He gives a lot of good advice to Lee, but at the same time, does he stand out? Not really. But I think Herschel is the first of our scavengers. His moment when he loses his son is absolutely tragic. And there's just not much else to say about that. He is the heart and soul of the first part of the game. And you really know what you're getting into this game when you come across Herschel's Lost. Sorry, Sean. It is what it is, my friend. I do apologize, but it is what it is. Kenny. Oh my god, Kenny. Where do I put Kenny? Because I could very easily see someone putting Kenny as a trash character. And I know that's harsh, because we go through a lot with him. But I don't see him as a trash character. I don't see him as an Icarus character either. Because I really feel that the Icarus is someone who's like one step closer to perfect. And he does have his redemption element. You know what? I'm gonna put him as an Icarus. Sure. Kenny, you're our first Icarus. I talked myself into this. Because all of his like negatives become character arcs. He has enough time in this game where he really is allowed that growth, which makes him more than what he probably could have otherwise. If he didn't have that character moment with Ben, his constant issues with him would have torn him down. He had the emotional loss of losing both his wife and son. He had a lot on his plate that he had to go through, and I mean, if we're being honest here, there really is just no other person who has had as many ups and downs as he has. But I don't think he's perfect because of exactly that. There are a lot of things that make him just shy of where he should be. Yes, you could argue, well, Flightless, he did redeem himself with Ben and all that, but I just think it was a little too much. A little too many ups and downs along the way that in a dystopian world, he just falls short of being... I mean, is he better than Clem? No. Is he better than your character? No. Maybe I'll move him at the end, but for now, I really gotta put him in the Icarus spot here. Next up, his wife, Katja. Katja, she is... I'm torn between A and B. If I were going to put her at B, she'd be at the front list. By the way, if someone's to the left, I think they're better than the person on the right. So let's move Clementine to the left, because I think Lee's more of a character that you make who he is, but she's just always going to be awesome. Katja would be here or here. And if I had pluses or minuses on my chart, she may be in between. I don't think she's as good as Kenny. The heartbreak and everything of hers is just... it's just too much. And how does she overcome heartbreak? She takes her life. And for me, I think that he fights for survival puts him on a higher tier than Katja. Now, is Katja someone who's just an ancillary character? No. Is she a trash character? No, but I don't think she rises to the Icarus category. Duck is awesome. He's a zombie penguin, without a doubt. I mean, Duck is great, and it's weird because originally, as I'm playing through the game, Duck is like here. He's great. And he's fun to be around, but Clementine is just so much better than Duck. So much better than Duck. But then episode 3 kind of puts him here. And that is, you have that scene where he's awesome, where he's helping you with the detective. He gets sick. You have that scary nightmare sequence when he comes at you and it's a game over scene. I mean, that was all just traumatizing. And then, of course, you know, his death is tragic. It hurts to see a child suffer, and the way they writ Duck was just so good. And I could see how he could be here. And the reason I say that is because there is a large part of episode 2 where he kind of disappears. You know what? I'm going to put him here for now. Because, as I just said, there's a large part of episode 2 where he does disappear. So let's, for now, put him slightly ahead of his dad. Carly's great. She's awesome. She gives you a lot of good advice. She's there for you. She helps you out. She's rock solid. And then she gets a Hippolyta. But she doesn't really do anything to me that makes me go, this character has a flaw. Every single thing that she did, I really feel that I like this character. And if she has a flaw, it's because she died too early. You can't blame her for that. I'm gonna put Carly as a zombie thing. She is really, really good, and I love that character. Doug, you're a survivor. Now, please note, you can flip these two based on your playthrough. And heck, who knows? Maybe he's actually down here and he's not as awesome as Carly. But for me, I chose to save Carly. And unfortunately, that did mean that Doug died before I could ever really get to know him. He's not a trash character. You do interact with him in the store. But yeah, I mean, he just dies too early. And because he dies too early, I just didn't really see enough of him. Glenn. Now, I may get some flack from this, but I really feel Glenn is a trash can. And the reason for that is, hold on, let me try to explain. I didn't watch the show. Now, I was told that he's in the show, and because he's in the show, that makes him like a, you know, that's like a cool thing. You're watching the show, you play the game, you're like, oh, there's Glenn. I love Glenn. But what did he do in the game? He shows up. He gets himself trapped. You know, he tries to save a woman who ends up not wanting to be saved. And then he leaves. Yeah, I mean, like I said, if this is missed potential, if the trash is missed potential, you are representative of that. Oh boy. Larry. Glenn won't have company for long. Larry is quite possibly the worst character in this game. And he's not in the trash because of missed potential, because he wasn't there long enough. He's in the trash because he just never grows. He's always this bitter old man. Now, yes, I know he cares about his daughter, and that's great. I'm glad he has a reason for why he's so bitter. But for goodness sake, you can't be a total jerk the entire time and not make me go, I don't like you. And I tried being nice to this guy because I really like Lily, who I'll get to in a second. But man, you just never got over yourself. I mean, come on. And yeah, I mean, this is another reason that I think Kenny's an A tier, because Kenny basically flat out murders this guy. Now, granted, Larry tried to murder his son by throwing him out the store before he was actually bit. I mean, you could probably throw both of these guys down here and say they deserve to be next to each other. But Kenny has enough time at least to evolve over this story. Maybe Larry would too, but I mean, honest, there is nothing in this game that made me think that Larry would ever become more than the scumbag that he is. Although I will say, and I will defend him here, Larry's incredibly helpful. He's always working hard. He's always trying to find a way to do things. He's always helping out around the camp, but that's mostly because he's trying to take care of his girl. In the ice thing, whatever that was, that we got trapped in by the family, he just went crazy and he wasn't helping out. So Larry, you're here because you deserve to be here. Glenn, you're here just because you didn't really do enough for me. You just kind of left. Lily, oh boy. Lily to me is probably the perfect representation of the Icarus character. Now I'm going to move her right ahead of Kenny. She's someone who I really liked. She was strong. She was in control. She had a commanding presence about her. She knew how to take care of people. We made her our leader, for crying out loud. And she loved her dad, and she tried to get her dad to get along with people. This is a woman who actually did try to make things better. And when things went missing around camp, she's the one who was on it. She's probably the smartest of us. She may have been the best of us. But she's an Icarus because she killed Carly. Again, the Icarus character, in my opinion, is a character who has a major flaw or who just didn't do enough. For me, shooting Carly in the head, taking off with the RV, that was the thing that made her not a top tier. I really love Lily though. Lily is such a great character. But unfortunately, it just wasn't enough. Yeah, it just wasn't enough. So that is all the episode 1 characters. Let's get episode 2. We have the camp teacher, whose name is David, apparently. David, you're trash. Are you worse than Larry? No. Are you worse than Glenn? I mean, kind of. I would say Glenn actually did something in the game. You didn't do anything. You had your leg almost get chopped off and then you died. Now, Flightless. Maybe you could have saved him. In which case, maybe he wouldn't be a trash character. But you know what? This is my playthrough. Which you can watch by going into the description below. I have a spreadsheet with a playthrough of all our games, and you can watch The Walking Dead Season 1. But in my playthrough, he didn't really do anything. And I know I just said Larry may be the worst character. Our boy here may be the worst character in the game. Because Travis tries to wrestle away a gun and gets himself shot. I mean, come on, dude. How? I know he's trying to save his leader, but Travis, you don't try to wrestle away a gun with the gun pointed at your stomach. Probably the dumbest character. I mean, she's the smartest, you the dumbest. Just saying. And then we got Ben. I really don't know what to do with Ben. Ben is a catalyst for a lot of things that happen in the game. And he does have a story behind him, and you do feel bad about him. So I'm not going to say he's a trash character, but I am going to say that he's probably the best of the survivor character. As my penguin so aptly shows us, he somehow survives. No one knows how. There is no explanation for how this dude is still alive. And in the end, yeah, he does die, and he dies in a very heroic way, where he's overcoming so much I can't say that his death is heroic because he gets stabbed, through the stairwell. I'm saying that the things that he overcame there at the end was very heroic. But I don't think he's a meh character. I have more negatives to Ben than I have positives. So Ben, you're the best of the second worst. Sure. Yes, if you'd like to defend Ben, I would love to hear your comments in the comment section below. Because I don't know, I really can't defend Ben. Mark. I think Mark should also go in the C category. Maybe he's just below Ben. And the reason for that is because Mark is a... You know what? I think I'm going to move him up to B. Is he better than Herschel? Probably. Is he better than Katja? No. I like where he's at right now. Mark just dies too soon. He's a really nice guy. He takes care of our troop when we need to be taken care of. And overall, just a really good person. But... I mean, he dies too soon. He just dies too soon to be a top character. And that's a shame. Because I think that he's someone who could have easily been a higher character. Next up, we have the St. John's. And Andy and Danny. These are two characters who... When I look at them, Danny over here seems to be the more intelligent. He's also the more brutal. He's also the more practical. Hey, we can't let human flesh go to waste, so we kill them so my family can live. He, in my opinion, is the villain out of these three. I think he's the one that rises above just despicableness when it comes to the St. John characters. And Andy, on the other hand, he's more of a goof. He's more of just, I do what my brother and my mom say. He's a guy who just, I don't think he really has much of a clue on everything that really goes on in this family. And that's why now again, it's on one playthrough and this is just my initial thoughts. But who went with us to take down Jolene? That was Danny. Danny's also the one who, well, I'm not going to spoil everything, but he's the one who we had a tussle with in the barn. Andy over here is the one who we met afterwards. For me, he's kind of a C. Maybe a low tier C. Doug just... I'm sorry, it's not your fault. You just weren't really in the game much. Same with you, Sean. I'm going to put him just below Ben. Because I think if you got rid of one of these three characters, you could have gotten rid of him and no one would have cared. I'm going to put Mama up here with B. I'm going to put her just above Herschel, but below Mark. She's there. She has some great scenes, especially the scene where, zombie Mark comes back and takes her out, which is amazing. That's why Mark, again, is above her, just barely. But yeah, I think these two are here. I think you're an A. I don't think you're Zombie Penguin. But I do think you're an Icarus. You're a guy who, if you just had the ability to be more villainous, I think I could have had you higher. And what do I mean by more villainous? I don't know. Maybe we find out that he set out the electric fence on purpose to try to get rid of us. I don't know how you could explain that in the story. I guess it's kind of implied. I could see him being a zombie penguin. But I'm gonna have him here as an Icarus because I think that he has the most potential to be worse than the zombies. However, he just falls short. I think if he could have killed someone first, I know Larry dies because he traps us in, but man, if he could have killed someone, he could have been up here. Now, granted, we assume that he's the one who takes off Mark's leg, correct? I mean, it may have been Mom as well, but for me, he's the most evil of the three, and I have him rated as the highest of the St. John characters. Jolene, she's a trash character. I mean, she's not really there. Are you better than the kid? Yes. Larry, probably. I think he's the lowest just because he's the most dumb. I'm sorry. But dude, you can't grab a gun from someone and point it at your chest. Even if you're a kid. Come on. You gotta have more sense than that. So yeah, I have Jolene as probably my mid and the most just mad characters. She has potential, but she's just a crazy woman. And we're led to believe that maybe she's Clem's mom. Did anyone really believe that? No. I just always thought she was a crazy woman. So Jolene sockets into the trash tier. This brings us to episode 3, where we have 4 characters introduced. Yes, I did say 4 characters. I'll get to that in a second. Chuck, you're amazing. You're an Icarus. You're the lowest on the Icarus because I think you're amazing, but just die again. You died too soon, which is a shame because you're a really cool dude. You give out candy, you give out advice, you're just really nice. You're very heroic. You know, you're just not top tier. Krista and Omid. This is tough. This is really tough. I have Krista at Zombie Penguin tier. And I have her brother, who I'm going to rank at the same time, below Lily. Now you may say why. Well, here's why. Omid gets taken out and bedridden for a large part of the episode where we're going up against the fanatics. The I don't want to use the NA word, but yeah, those people. And he really doesn't do anything because of that. Because he gets injured, that injury kind of sidelines him. He's funny. He's great. I love the dude. He's amazing. But because he gets sidelined, it takes him out. And I think that's a missed opportunity. Whereas his sister is also very awesome. Also very funny. The two of them are just so great. I love these two characters. They may be my favorite characters in the entire game that's not Clem, because these two are just amazing. And I would really love to see more of these two in the future the way they are. Please don't corrupt the memory I have of these awesome characters. But I think Krista is higher than Omid just because she's involved in a lot more things. Although Omid is really... But again, if Icarus is... You're missing one thing, I think Omid being sidelined, which really isn't his fault, but, you know, it happens. The Stranger. Yes, that is apparently his name, as far as I can tell. He is introduced at the end of episode 3. He is. He's on the walkie-talkie. So even though we don't meet him in person, he is there. So we're going to rank him. I think the Stranger is... I think the stranger is... I think the stranger is an Icarus tier. Slightly higher than Chuck. Slightly higher. Higher than Kenny? Yes. I do think he's higher than Kenny for one reason. To fix him, it would be really simple. I mean, they made him to be just a normal guy who we stole supplies from. Now, Lee has a background of him killing someone in relations to his wife. I would have loved to have seen the stranger be someone from Lee's background. Someone who is hunting him for what he did. Something to close out that storyline. Instead, he's just a normal guy who goes completely insane. Now, as a normal guy who goes completely insane, he's great in that role, especially when he makes us look at the evils we've done in our past. But the personal connection of the story here, of him talking badly about Lee just because we took his stuff, I mean, I'm not going to say I'm a Telltale writer. I'm not even going to say that I'm close to being as good of a writer as the Telltale staff. The Telltale staff is amazing. I just wish he had a better motivation to want to kidnap Clem, to hurt Lee, to make it personal. He could have been the ultimate villain. Instead, he was just a psychotic, crazy man. Yeah, and I really feel that they could have done more with him. Vernon is not here long. And yes, he does steal our boat, which means that he could also be an Icarus character. For me, I think he's top tier. I think he's a zombie penguin. Vernon is a pretty great character. He's a doctor. He's got a good heart. He's looking after his family. He's looking after his friends. I don't really see a lot of negatives with Vernon. I just think he's a really cool character. And now, yes, like I said, because he steals our boat, he could go here. And I would not have any reservations putting him here. But for me, I think he deserves to be up there. Now, Bree, on the other hand, Bree, she's just meh. Just meh. I mean, I never really got Bree. Yeah, I understand she had a horrible incident and all that. I don't think she belongs here in the scavenger tier. The survivor tier. But she's a scavenger. She's not great. She's not horrible. She has impact in the story, but I mean, that's about it. Should she be higher? Yeah. Should she be higher? Maybe. I don't think she's higher than Mark. But if you want to swap these two, you probably could. Last, we have Molly. Molly is amazing. If her flaw is she leaves us, that's the worst thing I can say about her. Molly, to me, is a zombie penguin. She is a great character, a wonderful character I like a lot. I like her more than him. Not more. I like Omid. I mean, I like Krista slightly more than Carly. Do I like you more than Carly? Yes, I think I do like you more than Carly, because you're pretty cool. I mean, she's pretty cool. She's a survivor, and I really liked it. I really liked her. I like Carly more. Okay, I like Carly more. Okay, so yeah, it's the first time I've ever done tier list. Normally I do a ranking video where I rank each person like in a countdown fashion. But let's see what we got. So at number 1, basically, we have Clem. And I like the S tier. You could argue that he is down here or even down here. You know, we have a ton of Icaruses. Let's make him a zombie penguin. You see, I'm more optimistic. I have more people up top than on the bottom. I like that. A, leading us off in A is Duck. Probably true. I would say Omid higher than Lily. Why? Because you're here just because you got hurt. She's here because she killed someone. That seems good enough reason to me. Duck? Like, Duck is so close to being S. And I think I'm unfairly ranking Duck because of Clementine. But in the world where we only have like 2 kids, and one kid is like that good and the other kid is Duck, Duck is not as good as Clementine. So I think having Duck as the best of the Icaruses is pretty good. The stranger I like here, I love my villains. I just wish he was a different villain. But I still love the villains. It's kind of nice that he's an ordinary guy. I mean, you could make an argument that he's better because an ordinary guy who goes completely insane. Yeah. I like the Icarus tier. The scavenger tier, I like as well. These are all good characters. I'm gonna move Mark in front of Katja. I'm sorry, but when Katja takes her own life, it's... I do like Mark better than Katja. Do I like Bree better than Mom or Herschel? I do like Herschel best out of these 3. Yes, I do like you better than these 3. Should you be this high? Yeah, I think you're the best example of this tier here. The best example of a survivor. Somehow, some way, you're there. And everyone else here, yeah, I feel sorry about you. If I had a tier of I wish I would have known you more, you'd be in it. But you're just not. Should you be higher than Sean? Probably. Should you be higher than Danny? Probably. All right, there. I'll give you some respect. And then our trash tier are the tier of characters who, if you didn't have in the game, I don't think it would have affected the story. Or they're characters that just I really didn't like. Glenn, I mean, you're nothing but a glorified cameo. I hate to say that, but you kind of are. And you get your leg chopped off, not your fault. You're a crazy woman. You're the most disliked character in the game. But you're not the worst in this tier because you're just really dumb. Yeah. I really want to put, like, if there's justice in the world, he should be at the bottom, right? No, I'm sorry, but you don't try to grab a gun like that. That's a death that did not need to happen. Okay? Full stop. Did not need to happen. Okay, well, my name is FlightlessBird. This is your story-based gaming channel, and today we ranked all the characters from Season 1's Telltale's The Walking Dead. In our next ranking video, I'm probably going to include the characters from the DLC, because I'm going to do the 400 days one before Season 2. So the next ranking video will have Season 2 in 440 days, or whatever that one's called. And I'll be able to look back on this list and try to figure out, you know, do I still feel the same about these characters? Compared to the characters I have in S rank in Season 2? Should you be here? Should you be here? Should you be all the way down here? I don't know. I'm eager to find out though. But I love you guys so very much. Thank you for everything. If you do like what you see, don't forget to hit that thumbs up to like the video. At the same time, I also want to ask you to subscribe and to comment on what you think your favorite characters are. Who do you think are the best characters in The Walking Dead Season 1? Please do not spoil anything beyond the Season 1. I have not seen it, not played it, and I really want to go into it as blind as possible. I also want to give a huge shout out to our wonderful, amazing supporters of the channel via Patreon and YouTube membership. Chiniku T, Techno Trouble, Moose Gaming, Tappers, and Daddy X Dagoff. Thank you all very much. If you'd like to join them, links are in the description below. But for now, my dear friends, I hope you have a wonderful, fantastic, amazing, awesome day. And until next time, so long, and take care. Thank you for watching this video. Feel free to comment on what you saw and what you'd like to see next. I always love to hear your thoughts. But before we go, please remember that you matter, and you are brilliant, and you are loved, and you should always be true to yourself. Never let the world tell you any different. Much love to you from your friendly, feathered, flightless bird.